Welcome back to the channel, Croc and Crocettes. I'm Croc, and we are watching Which Blue Collar Job Should You Go Into? You can't see the title, it's behind my head, but that's what we're watching today.
There's all sorts of blue-collar jobs out there. The good, the bad, the ones that leave your knees.
I've also seen this guy before, which is why I'm curious on this video, because I've seen a lot of his shorts, and they're actually really good, which is why I'm like curious on... Actually, I love this environment, by the way. Is this made for you? Actually, it has really good lighting. It might be made for YouTube, considering we have the fridge with all the stuff on here, good branding, and then we have the regular shit, and then we have the right side, which has all the shelf stuff. I'm curious if this is actually like a studio for it.
Sounding like bubble wrap by 25. And I've talked about that I think that they're better than white-collar jobs, but this time, we're gonna go a little deeper. We've gotten some interest from people who want to get into the trades, but they go, which one should I get into? So today, we're gonna decide what would be the best trade to get into. Now that I've had a few years away from the job site, I figure we should break it down because not every blue-collar job is the same. And honestly, I'm just as curious as you guys are. I want to know what would be the best trade to start in. So
I'm not gonna lie, I am not a person who wants to get into blue-collar jobs, so this is gonna be fascinating.
rapid fire, this is what we got. Concrete, drywaller, electrician, HVAC, ironwork, landscaper, linesman, mechanic, machine operator, plumber, roofing, welder, and road work. So we're gonna compare them all and rank.
Yeah, that's fair. Streets that I'm on, I definitely see it. And it's even more fascinating when you have roads that have like the cracks in them, and then they have the cement within the cracks and stuff. Lovely roads, by the way. Those are always so.
Rank them on 4 things. Pay is the obvious one. We're talking average Joe. What can an average Joe make on this job site? Next one's lifestyle, and I think this one matters more than people think because the lifestyle adds up. You're working 80 hours a week. That's gonna break you down mentally and physically and your family. Next one is schooling. How much does schooling cost? Apprenticeships, certifications, maybe a degree, and that type of stuff. Finally, the coolness factor, because it's kind of cool to have a cool job. So yeah, we're making the ultimate
I would agree. I've yet to have a cool job, but until I get one, yeah.
trades tier list. And make sure you stick around to hear your trade come up and which one I choose to be the best. First on the list, the electrician. Known for being one of the snobbiest trades out there, they also really like to leave their entire job site a complete mess because someone else will pick that up. There also seems to be a weird uniform that they all wear that no one talked about. Khaki pants, boots, and a Carhartt quarter zip hoodie. Every electrician I know wears that. Electrician making about $60,000 a year.
Holy mother of God, Jesus, that's what, like $30 an hour for just to do. Actually, no, that's not bad. That's actually not bad. I won't even lie. Honestly, I would be curious about what their position is when it comes to them leaving cords everywhere, because I know that could be a difficulty. But I also know that in workplaces that I've been in, like, it's just a communication error at that point. But that's also
making some decent money, but you're talking 4 to 5 years in an apprenticeship. But the beautiful part about
4 to 5 years for 60,000. You at least, if you're gonna be doing that, you might as well go into school for like, I don't know.
being an electrician is you can level up and get paid a lot more. This trade has a higher ceiling than other ones. You get your journeyman license, maybe your master electrician license. You could be making about $100,000 a year. 40, 45-hour work week and sometimes have to work on the weekend. So lifestyle, not too bad. In terms of coolness, I'd say it's about medium cool. There's not anything that cool about being someone with OCD. All that being said, I'm gonna rank...
If you're an electrician, you have OCD is crazy. That's a crazy. I don't know. Then again, I haven't been in any of these things before, so anything I say is pretty much give or take. But I mean, I don't know. For me, I would actually no. You know what? I might be wrong. I might be the type that would actually. I think. What would I go? I feel like I would go through either electrician or welder, because those seem sick as fuck.
The electrician as A tier. I think it's just lacking that cool factor to get up into the S, but everything else is pretty dang good. Plumber. Oh, plumbers. What a piece of work a plumber can be. They show up, they charge you for just looking at stuff. They charge you for twisting knobs and not really fixing anything. Hell, they'll even charge you for breaking something themselves. If they weren't in the trades, they'd probably be a used car salesman. Old Slick Willie. And you're really a good fit for a plumber if you are a catastrophe predictor. The whole system's gotta be replaced because I gotta clean the P-trap. Tear it all out, put in a new system. That'll cost you 40 grand. That's what it's like being a plumber. Don't even get me started on the crack. And the median salary is
Honestly, that is probably one of the peak moments of having a plumber, is that you get to have that sweet moment where you can stare at their butt crack, because that's gonna be the highlight of your day, and they probably don't even realize it because they're gonna be like, oh well, it's the work, but hey, you get a nice view of it. That's why that's such a I guess that's why it's such a common trope within core. Like, holy shit, that must be a real big reason for that sweet booty crack.
$61,000 a year. You got an apprenticeship for
I am so sorry. That's only 1K more a year for being a plumber. My bullshit alarm is going.
5 years. You're gonna work about 40 hours a week, and again, sometimes I have to work on the weekend. Plumber's a little.
Actually, you know, that's actually not terrible. If you're having 40 hours a week, that's a general job, and then 2, you have to sometimes work weekends. Honestly, when it comes to a job, working the weekends is actually not a bad thing. In fact, I would actually say it's better to have it on the weekdays, because then you don't have that like mentality around the weekend. So I can definitely see the weekend thing being an absolute not problem. I've done that before. I worked as a dishwasher for a little while, and I didn't have the weekends off. Or yeah, I didn't have the weekends off. It would just be like a Tuesday, and then it would just actually be kind of more fun. Weirdly.
A little bit harder on your body though. You're gonna have to be getting up and down. You're gonna have to get your hands dirty. You're gonna be laying pipe in holes all day.
That is such a funny sex joke that I'm not.
Would you think that would help the coolness factor? But the upside of being a plumber is you can make a lot more money if you go do it on your own and get all the licenses and level up. Almost 115 grand a year. Tell you what.
115 grand. I was gonna say that seems like kind of bullshit if they only make 61, but if it goes up to that, especially if you're doing something like this, is almost like tech, for example. The place that I work at currently, sometimes they add stuff. Like, honestly, it's kind of crazy to think about how many simple things people don't know how to do. For example, you get charged a lot for like doing an oil change, but oil changes are actually really like it might require you to buy a couple of supplies, but it's really simple, and they charge you a fortune just for like checking in shit. I would assume. I've never actually, but that's
kind of cool. I'm gonna rank the plumber as a B tier because
B tier. Actually, no, that's fair.
At the end of the day, you are still just dealing with all day. That stinks. Literally. The HVAC
That is very
technician. You're either super early or super late, but I know one thing, you don't give a about the general contractor's schedule. You guys show up when you are good and ready. HVAC guys have a little bit of a stereotype that they install their stuff wherever they want and everyone else has to move around them. And if you're gonna be an HVAC technician, you can make around $56,000 a year.
Ooh, fascinating. This is actually a career that one of my siblings is going into, and that's what they have expressed that they're doing. Honestly, it seems, now that that's said, that's actually kind of an interesting go at it. I might.
Your training could be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. You do need some certification with the
Actually, that's not terrible, especially considering the wait, hold on, how much does it pay?
EPA. And again, you're working 40, 45 some hours a week. Sometimes you gotta work the weekends. And in terms of body impact, not as bad. Probably something's more similar to the electrician. I haven't seen as many HVAC guys with limps as I have other trades. We can rank them by limps. This body impact is about 2 limps. Coolness factor, definitely cooler than dealing with shit all day, but not as cool as the electrician. So we're falling somewhere in there.
Right.
So I'm gonna.
But what is the pay? I forgot what you said about the pay. What's the pay? What did you say the pay was? Did you mention the pay?
Dealing with shit all this body impact is about 2 limps as I have to the I work the week. And again, you're working from 6 technician. You can make around want and everyone else has to move around them. And if you're gonna be an HVAC technician, you can make around $56,000.
Oh, that's bullshit. Hold on a fucking minute.
$1,000 a year. Your training could be anywhere from 6 months.
Okay, that makes way more sense. Because I was about to say, like, the pay is, that's not better than the other one. And but then 2, the training is not bad, so I guess it is quicker. But, you know, this is
2 years. You do need some certification with the EPA. And again, you're working 40, 45.
Then again, though, you're also having a really, I'll definitely give, I would say B. Give it B, at least. Come on.
Some hours a week. Sometimes you gotta work the weekends. And in terms of body impact, not as bad. Probably something's more similar to the electrician. I haven't seen as many HVAC guys with limps as I have other trades. We can rank them by limps. This body impact is about 2 limps. Coolness factor, definitely cooler than dealing with shit all day, but not as cool as the electrician. So we're falling somewhere in there. So I'm gonna rank HVAC as a C tier. Not
Wow, actually, you know what? I will say, maybe I'll change my opinion on this one. That actually totally makes sense. I actually agree with that a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Very cool. You don't get paid as much as the electrician and plumber. The other day, it's just, I don't know, not that cool. Next, we got the welder, which right off the bat, I'm shocked looking at this number of how much they make, $48,000 a year. There's a stereotype that welders are massively rich. Welders are notorious for shitting on other welders. All the
Interesting. I would have thought you made way more. No, I don't even want to be well. I mean, I thought it would be way more income for me in total, but hey, it is 48,000 though, compared to like it's definitely affecting my opinion a little bit.
trades kind of do this, but I feel like it's most prevalent in the welding community. Welders will be on vacation, see some other guys weld from halfway around the world, and he will rip into this guy. Training can take 6 months to a year. Average weekly hours, about 45 hours a week. Body impact, feel like it's not too bad, probably in that 2 limps area again. But coolness factor is where this puppy really catches its stride. Coolness factor is where this sucker really starts licking. Coolest factor is where it jumps this thing up a tier or 2. If you tell me you're a welder, I instantly think you're cool. You gotta wear a mask like that and use a torch? Let's go. Fire? Cool. Masks? Cool. Big leather gloves? Cool. You're literally fusing metals. That's cool.
That is cool. I won't lie, it is fucking cool as shit, eh? What the fuck?
Put welder in the S tier. It's cool. You can get paid a lot of money if you're really good, and I kind of like the idea of striving to be better at your craft and getting paid more. We got our first S tier. Mechanics. Mechanics, these guys are introverted. They don't like talking to people. They barely got through high school, so now they're into cars, and they're always finding a way to squeeze an extra buck out of you. Changing the air filter, filling up the washer fluid. One thing they do know is a lot about music. They got that shop radio cranked all day long. We need about 6 months to 2 years of training, which this is our first actual schooling that we need. If you don't want to go to a tech school, probably don't want to be a mechanic. You don't need a certification, but you will need an ASE, an automotive service excellence certification if you want to work somewhere legit like a dealership or something like that. You're gonna be working 40 hours a week. You're gonna maybe sometimes have to work the weekends. And body impact, I feel like it's about 3 limps. Coolness factor, I go back and forth on this because it's kind of cool to be covered in grease, but if we're being real, you're mostly just changing oil. So I'm gonna rank.
Like the oil change I was mentioning, they would charge a lot for that, but oil changes are so easy. You literally just lift up the car, you unscrew the thing into a pan, you let it drain, you screw it back in, and they put the shit back in. It's so easy. I technically, it's because I took like drive, so I kind of have some knowledge, but
The mechanic at a B tier. There's not as much upside money-wise. There's kind of a ceiling on it, and more education doesn't equal more money. Next, we have the old heavy equipment operator, the most rested trade of all the trades. If you like to catch some Z's, you need to become a heavy equipment operator. What a cushy gig. You're in a heated or cooled cab, so it doesn't matter what it is outside. You can wear shorts all year round. Median salary about $54,000 a year. Training is usually some on-the-job training once you got your CDL license. You might not need your CDL, but you probably will. Work about 45 hours a week and sometimes have to work the weekends. Now, body impact, we're talking 1 limp and 1 heart attack. You're gonna be getting some high blood pressure from all the lack of moving you're doing. Now, coolness,
oh yeah, no, I can definitely bet that if you're doing that, that's like being at that point. If you're sitting down for hours at a time, your ass is gonna well, your whole body. But yeah, if you're not moving at all, that's gonna be real.
I wish I was a heavy equipment operator. I envy the hell out of equipment operators. Our office is in an industrial park, and sometimes I will waste 45 minutes just standing at the window watching a guy move dirt. That being said, I'm going to rank the equipment operator at a S.
Hey, that's actually a gas rating though, because even though I was just saying agreeing all that stuff, I personally would. I feel like I'd actually probably be so good at it, because once I learn controls, then I'm fucking G. I'm fucking G.
Tier. I just think it's cool. Driving a giant machine all day, moving dirt, sitting on your ass, eating snacks, getting type 2 diabetes. Sounds like a pretty good life. Next up, we got the linesmen. These guys are kind of known as the cowboys of the trades. They know what they're doing, but they also kind of got a screw loose. But their median salary, $78,000 a year. Woohoo! You got to do 4 years of an apprenticeship, have a CDL, and have OSHA and union certifications. So there's a lot more that goes into getting into this. Working about 45 hours a week, and you gotta work the weekends a lot. You can't control Mother Nature. If it decides to blow over a light pole, you're going to work. Body impact, I feel, is about, 3 to 4 limps. But the danger involved with this work, that's where the body impact could go through the roof. It's a dangerous job. Coolness, though,
for 78,000. You're kidding. Like, that's insane. For 78. You might as well get paid 100,000 for that, mate. Gee. I mean, actually, technically, that's not if I think about it, but in comparison, especially if you're like a plumber.
Kind of cool to be a linesman. I could not because I am deathly afraid of heights. So I'm ranked the linesman at an A tier. Great pay. Again, it's just more dangerous, I feel like, than the others, and so I feel like less people are going to get into it, otherwise it would be an S tier. Next, we have the concrete workers. Man, these guys are felons. If you have a pulse, you can work concrete. We just need bodies out there. These guys are up there with the most degenerate. It's just really hard work. It's very hard on the body. There's a reason why it's the roughest crowd, is because it's one of the roughest jobs to do. You make about $47,000 a year. Though back when I was working, I made about $12 an hour, not to brag. Training? You're dreaming if there's training involved. Certification? For what? You're gonna work on average 45 hours a week. Body impact, it's about 10 limps. I know this because my dad limps 10 times from the couch to the fridge at his house. Coolness factor, it's definitely cooler than being a plumber. Now you're rough and tough, you get to smoke cigs. Smoking cigs can look cool. I'm gonna put concrete worker as an F tier. It's just not enough pay for too much work, too hard on the body. The people you gotta work with, definitely an F tier, sorry.
That's interesting. Then again, I have experienced, because where I work, there are some people who like do work around the place, and I've met some of them, and some of them are just like, yeah, no, I've been to prison, I've done this and that. I'm just like, damn. So when do I join?
Dad. Next we have roofing. If the linemen are the cowboy of the sky, the roofers are the degenerates of the sky. We're kind of actually going through the degenerate pass right now. It's got concrete workers, roofers, and then next up we have drywallers. We are absolutely in the gauntlet of degenerates. Roofers are like if they took concrete guys and just put them on top of the building instead of under the building. Your median salary is gonna be $46,000 a year. Suck it, roofers! Concrete guys make $47,000 a year. Let's go! You don't need training, on the job training. You don't need certifications. That's laughable. Working about 45, 50 hours a week. Working weekends. Body impact, definitely not as hard as concrete work. And I'm gonna rank the roofing at a C tier. To continue the gauntlet of degeneration, next up we got drywallers. And boy, do these guys love drugs. They love them. They can't stay away from them. I think drywallers,
Are they just sniffing the drywall at that point? That'd be crazy.
in their free time, love to skittle. Put a bunch of pills into a bowl, mix them up, just do a handful at a time. Also, they just like pissing in bottles. It's just like there's no way around it. Drywaller can make $47,000 a year. Suck it, roofers! On the job training, don't need a certification. We're working about 40, 45, 50 hours a week. The standard. I feel like body impact's a little bit more than others. I think it's very similar to being a roofer. 5 limps. And coolness factor, as a whole, drywalling's not cool. If you break it up, there's cool parts to it. Watching TikToks of people putting mud in the joints, I can watch it all day, that's cool. Walking around on stilts, that's cool. Drywalling, not cool. I don't know how that adds up. That being said, I'm gonna rank the drywaller as a C tier. If you're going through the gauntlet of degeneration, you're gonna end up in C and F tier. It's just how it goes. Next up, we got road work. You make about 48 grand a year.
Road work for 48? I thought it would like be at least in the 50s, but no? That's not great. What the hell?
They're not doing anything. Just are standing around looking at stuff all day, especially if you're a city worker, government worker. I mean, the fact that there's someone out there just holding a sign, I mean, come on. You're not doing anything. Road construction takes forever because no one's doing anything. Just do something. You got some on-the-job training, but you also need to be OSHA certified. Now, in terms of body impact, I do think for them not doing anything, they do have to deal with cars driving past them working. And so it can be much more dangerous than some of these other trades, and so I will give them a danger factor.
Yeah, that is totally fair. I don't know why I paused, but that's totally
Coolness factor, I'd standing there with a sign with a yellow vest on all day. Not cool. I just can't think of anything worse than working road work, and so I'm gonna put this at an F tier. No one likes you. Everyone's honking at you, getting mad. No one's ever said, wow, I love those road workers. They work so fast. Never. Next up, we got landscapers. Make a measly $39,000 a year. No training involved. Jake's left me a note that if you do want to be a pesticide applicator, there are some states that require certification. And that's how you know we actually did some research. You're working 40, 45, 50 hours a week like most. You're gonna have to work the weekends quite a bit, especially.
Also, if I may say, I just started thinking about this randomly. Dude, his beard is immaculate. He's got some fucking hair. Also, I hate to break it to you, man. You should totally wear your branding on your hat. That'd be such a good marketing ploy.
In the summer. Gotta get a lot of work done this summer. Body impact, it can be tough work. I would say it's about 5 limps, and I mean, you're wheelbarrowing, you're shoveling. Now, coolness factor, if you can make some pretty cool arrangements, I'm in board with that, but I feel like it's about medium. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're done with a landscaping project, it does look really nice, and that's cool. So I'm gonna put landscapers in the B tier. Landscaping is kind of like if concrete wasn't so degenerate. Next trade on the list, we have the iron workers. Iron workers can make a 60 grand a year salary. Let's go, iron workers. Training can take 3 to 4
That's actually not bad. 3 to 4 years, that's also not bad. That's pretty.
4 years, you got an apprenticeship, plus you got the union and state licensing. On average, you're working about 45 hours a week and sometimes got to work the weekends. Body impact for these guys, though, pretty high. It can be a very dangerous job. We talked about this before. The photo of the iron workers on the Empire State Building from 19...
I'm sorry, but those hats.
We talked about this before. The photo of the...
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, I actually have one of these hats myself, and oh my god, they're also really, really nice because it's like the way the hat works. I have it air in general, but like I do have one of these. I wear it constantly, but like it's honestly really comfortable. It kind of because it's like the top here. There's like a dome in there, but then on top it like has this stuff, and overall, number one, it like is resistant against the wind, but then 2, it'll make your head warm because it's like capturing air and then making it warmer. I kind of think it's like a wetsuit in a way for a hat, but then 2, it blocks out the sun because it has a peak on it, so then you can just do whatever and boom, it's all good. Actually, that's all I had to say because I have one of those hats. So honestly, big W.
Iron workers on the Empire State Building from 1930 something. Fucking badass. But my palms are sweating just thinking about it. That being said, I think being an iron worker is badass. It would be an S tier if it wasn't as dangerous, so I'm gonna put it as an A tier. Badass. All right, we have our tier list. After looking at the tier list, it's time to pick which one I would go into. And looking at the top 2, the welder and the operator, I think I'm personally picking the heavy equipment operator because I just want to move dirt. Actually, the sneaky dark horse that I would put if you don't want to be a heavy equipment operator that I would put up next is the electrician. Yes, they're a little snobby, but I think you get paid really well, and we really need them bad right now. So I think you can't go wrong with heavy equipment operator or an electrician. So all in all, we need people in all these trades, so you should decide for yourself. You should also let me know which one you're thinking about. I probably got some stuff wrong, so just let me know too. Very curious to see what people think is the best trade out there, considering all the factors weighed. So let me know what I got right, let me know what I got wrong. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We'll see you in the next one.
Oh, actually, okay, I'll just mention this real quick. Their duo here is fucking gas. They got some good, and also this. He makes some really... Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your time. This was a very fun video to watch, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye. Have a love.